Hey guys, Swerve here, back with part 2 in my Avatar series creation videos. This video we're going to be going over animations, such as making a gun appear in your hand, or a sword, or anything like that. We're also going to be doing dynamic bones in the hair. That's really simple, so that'll be something I'm going to be doing more towards the end. First we're going to be focusing on the animation aspect of this video. First you're going to need what you want to appear. I use this website called Turbo Squid. It's got a bunch of free assets on it. I think I'm going to be using a gun for mine. You can use a knife or whatever you want. It'll all be the same process. So if I wanted a Glock, I'm going to search up Glock. This won't be here for you, so I'm going to go to price right here and just going to hit 00, apply that, and now you'll see only free models. When you're looking for a model, you want to check down here and make sure that this either says OBJ or FBX, because if it doesn't, you're going to have to convert it. I believe that OBJ and FBX are the only two file formats that Unity supports natively. You can like convert these into FBX or OBJ, but that's another process that would have to be gone over in another video. I think I'm going to use this one because I think it looks kind of funny, and it'll be kind of cool to pull out. You also want to check down here under polygons and vertices and make sure that these aren't like 1,000,000 because that'll affect the load time of your avatar, and you don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and download this one. You're going to see a screen like this. You're going to want to show all, get the FBX one if possible. Just kind of drag that over there, drag and drop this in here. Just a second, there we go, we can see it right here. I don't know if this one comes with textures. No textures on this one, but that's fine because we can just kind of use our own textures. Okay, so once you have your asset imported, you're going to drag it into your scene and then just zero it out on all the coordinates. This actually doesn't need to be scaled too much, maybe a little bit smaller. I'm going to place this in my right hand, so I'm just going to kind of drag it over there, hit the rotate button right here, and just kind of rotate that to where I want it to be. Alright, once you have that situated kind of where you want it, we need to attach this to our hand so that it will move with our hand. So I'm going to go under obviously the name of your model, and then armature, hips, spine, chest, all the way down, right shoulder, right arm, right elbow, right wrist, and then we're going to just grab our asset, drag that under the right wrist, so now it'll be attached to it. We also don't want this to be active on our main model. We want to make this appear, so we're going to click the checkbox right there to hide it in the default scene. Now we're going to go ahead and make a duplicate of this avatar by selecting it and pressing Ctrl D. Then select on your regular avatar and just kind of hide him. This is going to be one that we're going to use for animations. We're going to create a new animation. I'm going to call this gun in the hand. So first we're going to need to get all the fingers that we're going to need to move them and situate them so it looks like he's actually holding the gun. So we're going to select our model, go to your asset file, then you're going to kind of grab the custom animation override, which I need to find here really quick. Okay, I just found my override by selecting it right here, and then it just brought me to the folder where it's at. You're going to drag that over under your animator controller. Just do this on your animation avatar. Then you're going to go into animation, and you're going to see all these different components added in here. So we're using the right hand, so we're going to scroll down to where we start seeing the components for the fingers. Let's see here, right hand. Okay, so it's going to start right here, it's going to end at the thumb right there. So we're going to select in this animation keyframe, whatever you want to call it, the dope sheet I suppose. You're going to click and drag all the way down. You're going to mouse over this scroll bar so you can scroll down all the way to the bottom of the thumb right there where it says hand.th. You're gonna let go, and then you're gonna do Control C, select on your avatar again, go back into project, find your default animation controller. Where did mine go? Let's see here. If I just select this and delete it. So once you're back in your animation, you're just going to select in the dope sheet again, Control V. So now we have all our fingers so that we can move them around and all that good stuff. If you drag this back and forth, you should crouch down like this and get into this pose. If not, then you need to make sure that the controller is set back to the default. Now we are going to go and add property. Now we're just going to make our gun appear in our hand by going armature, hips, spine, chest, right shoulder, right arm, right elbow, right wrist. So just navigate to where that you attached your weapon to your body, and then you're going to do is active. You're going to check this box right here. So now he's going to pull it out like that and make it visible in the scene. Now we need to adjust the fingers so that it looks like he's actually holding the weapon. This is the part that can get a little tedious. It's kind of annoying. So the best way to do that is just kind of by mousing over the component and just kind of dragging it around so you can see what it does. Press escape to set it back to the default before you let go if you don't like how it moved. I really need more of the end of this finger, so I'm going to kind of move it a little bit like that. Move it like that so it looks like he's holding the trigger. But yeah, that's how you move the fingers. You're just going to kind of slide these back and forth. I'm going to pause the video and resume it when I have his hand situated properly. Alright, if you want a quick tip, in order to zoom in, you can hold Alt and right click, which is a little bit better than scrolling because you can be a little bit more accurate with it. Alright, once you have your fingers kind of situated how you want them, you're going to click at the top right here to select all, Control C, move it over one keyframe, Control V, and that's going to be how we're going to set up our animation. That's all you have to do to make an animation. If you wanted the gun to, let's say, be on your avatar, like on his back, and so you could pull it off, you would just make another one on the regular model and then place it on his back and attach it to like the spine or the chest, and in this animation you would just find it and set it to be not active in this animation. Like we set this one to be active, so you'd have another one in here which would be the one on his back, and you would have this box unchecked so that it would hide it as you unhide this one. Now we're going to go ahead and set up the dynamic bones, and then I'm going to go over some simple textures you can make to make this gun look kind of cool. So I'm going to hide the animation avatar. We're going to go back into our regular avatar. As well as we need to attach that animation we just created. Now you need to find where your animation was created. It was created in the folder you had selected when you hit create animation. So give me a second to find that really quick. Alright, I found it. I'm also going to move that under my assets folder just to make this a little bit easier. So now I've got my animation override right here, and then the animation we created. So I'm going to override the erase animation because I don't use drawing. Alright, so now we're going to set up dynamic bones in the hair. So you're going to go under your avatar and navigate all the way down to the head. That's usually where the hair is going to be. There's also some dynamic bones in the tail you can set up. It's going to be the same way I'm setting them up for the hair here. You're going to find something called front hair right here. Add component. You're going to do dynamic bone. And then you're going to drag the bone that you set that under to root. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of settings that you can mess with here. Dampening is like how slow the bone's going to move. Elasticity is how fast the bone removes to its original position. Stiffness is how hard it is for the bone to like move, kind of. I mean, it's relatively self-explanatory. And then inertia is how much force is applied to move the bone. So if you just want to mess with these, I can show you how you can kind of run a little test in the Unity game here. I'm going to set this kind of like that. This is just a demonstration. These aren't probably gonna look good. If you hit play right there and then you go into scene, click on your avatar, you can kind of move him around, see the hair moving right there, and you can see if that looks good. You can see this one's kind of snapping around, so that wouldn't be settings that you'd want to use. But yeah, just kind of mess with those, see what you like. You can also go under here and set a bone for this one too to make it a little bit more realistic. But beware that the more dynamic bones you have, the more unoptimized your avatar is going to be. I'm also going to go ahead and set up a dynamic bone collider in my hand so that I can move my hair around with my hand. So if I go under right wrist and I add component, I do dynamic bone collider, it's going to make a giant collider. So we're going to scale that down to like really small here, probably like that. And then you're going to use these axes to move it where you want it to be. So let's see here. So just around the end of his hand, that looks like a good spot. Now you're going to go back into the hair. You're going to go under colliders, add one, and then you're going to select the wrist collider we just created. So now when this collider hits this bone, it will move it around. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to do one more thing, which is go over creating some simple textures to make this gun not look like doo-doo. If yours came with textures, then that's great. You don't have to watch this part. But this is just for people that maybe want their gun to be a little bit unique. So I'm going to go grab a couple shaders and I'll be right back. Okay, for this gun, I'm going to kind of go with a purple theme. I've just kind of grabbed a couple of cool textures off the internet here. I've also got a shader imported that's called a lava shader. It's RFX lava shader. It's one of my favorite shaders to use. So I'm going to create a new texture here and Control D that a couple times. For this, I'm going to use a lava shader that I have. I'm going to go ahead and drag this under the main texture. And then I'm going to put this, let's say we can put this maybe on the handle. And you'll see there is movement when you hold it down over it. I'm also going to go into the lighting on this texture and kind of turn it up a little bit. Let's try that. I really like that on the slide actually. I'm going to go into another material, create another lava shader. This time I'll use this texture. Gonna turn up the brightness on this one as well. Let's see that. Let's put that on here. If you see something like all these repeating, that means that you don't have a seamless texture. You can kind of mess with the tiling here and see if you can make it look a little bit better. If I turn up the tiling, maybe turn down the tiling. Yeah, so we're still gonna see tiles with this texture, so this one wouldn't be really one that you'd want to use if you notice that. You can try putting it on some other things, see if it looks a little bit better. Like right there where it's really stretched out, you can't really see any tiling, so that works fine. But as far as this one right here, that one's not really gonna work out very well. Alright, so once you've created some textures, just kind of throwing them on there, mess with them, make them look good. I obviously just threw some random ones on there for the video purposes. I'm gonna go ahead and launch into Vrchat, show you guys that this worked. And then that'll be the end of this one. In the next one, we're going to go over how to create actual textures that don't look like trash. And also going to do shooting animations for guns, because I know a lot of people want to be able to shoot your gun and not just hold it. So that'll be in the next one. I'm going to launch into Vrchat really quick, show you guys that this worked. Alright, here we are in the game. This is the model I just edited. You can see dynamic bones in the hair. If I put my hand up against it, I can move it around like this. Here's the animation we created right here. See, there's the gun, fingers. So everything works as it should. Thanks for watching, guys. Next video, we're going to go more in depth into textures, and as well as maybe, I think I'm going to do gun shooting animation. I think that'll be cool. But yeah, that'll be up next. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay swervy.